Thank you for my new subscribers that have come on. If I sound a little groggy and I get a little brain fog, the fog, you see, is because I am a little bit medicated because I injured my arm overreaching and sprang, pulled or tore a muscle. Ended up going to ER to see why I was in such extreme pain. They did X-rays. Make a long story short, yeah, I overreached and pulled an arm muscle, and so that did slow up my camming for the weekend. I only was able to log in for maybe about, I don't know, 45 minutes of that. I did get one private, and I was happy about that. But I wanted to come here. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I'm not sure. Testing out a new way of doing my sound. I would hope that, I don't know, maybe I should just come back. Whoever's here, can you guys hear me? And I don't have my chat box open, so I don't even know. But I'm gonna flow with it and hope to God that the sound is working. This is, I should have tested this before. I should have. But we're gonna get into talking about let me see where the chat box is. Chat. Is that the chat box? Live on messages, some messages. I'm gonna go ahead and click the chat box so I can see. Okay, maybe someone will come through. I think I'm gonna have to do this over. I just want to be sure. I'll come back because I have no way of. Oh yes, I do. I always have a way of testing because I can go to see myself on my YouTube from my phone. I always have a way of checking. Let me see. Testing. Testing. Okay, so that's not it though. All right, that's not gonna work. I mean, sound is there, but it has nothing to do with my microphone. But that's good. I'm gonna keep going then. So with that being said, ooh, I can see right here. Let me see. Will that show what I'm doing? Not on my end. Okay. So anyway, you guys, so let's get into it. This is the deal regarding the holidays, right? So we just had our Fourth of July holiday, and like I was just saying, recovering from this arm or hamstring or not hamstring. What's the thing? I don't even know what the muscle's called. It's behind my shoulder blade, up underneath where, let's just say, I keep telling people, if you had wings, right? Like the from X-Men, y'all, right? My one of my favorite characters was the angel with the guy with the wings. But anyway, if you had wings, where your wings would grow, that's where I got injured at. So I had to take it easy regarding camming. But I say all that to say this. I'm okay, right? So I'm laying down right now, and even as I record this, I am, like I said, got pain medication in me. So just want to, I said, oh, since I'm not feeling no pain, let me just do the video and just trying to keep up with, my own self as it relates to, making sure I do, what I need to do regarding, tips for you guys and just staying on schedule best as I can, right? Still adjusting, you guys, for those that know my story, still adjusting. A year later in my place after 6 years of homelessness, for those that know my story, I'm still adjusting, okay, mentally, emotionally, physically. Laying across the bed instead of laying across my bed in the back of my van, it makes a difference, I'm telling you. So I say all that to say, for those that, if you don't hear nothing else I'm saying, be grateful that you have a bed. You may not be under the roof that you exactly want, but hopefully you have a bed or, a couch or even a floor. Hell, I just had to go there, right? Because we are so freaking, especially over here in the US, right? So freaking spoiled. But anywho, so with that being said, speaking of the US, we just celebrated, or some of us celebrated, the 4th of July, Independence Day. I'm not going to be too political about it. We're not going to get into all of that right here. All I'm simply saying, oh, thank you guys. I see you. All I'm simply saying is that, yeah, we celebrated, right? Or we definitely need to take advantage of going online, especially us that are webcam models and webcam guys, because it's the holiday. And a lot of times, this is where we make the most money because the nature of the business is not just because it's adult entertainment or because it's sex. The nature of the business is that we are the fun people. I don't know how else to say it, right? We're the people that when folks want to be entertained, no matter what type of webcam model you are, throughout the holiday, people are bored, whatever their thing is, not just men, couples, you know what it is, you guys. Adult folks that want to come on and have a good time. here are we. Okay, so here it is after though, because we always talk about before. We always talk about the before of, okay, before the holidays, especially our major holidays that actually seems to be celebrated the more so over the globe, which is Christmas, Easter, things of that nature, Thanksgiving, right? I think no. Thanksgiving is is Thanksgiving the U.S. I think Thanksgiving is only the U.S. Yeah, but you guys, let's just go with Christmas. For the most part, folks celebrating Christmas. That's more of a global thing, right? But when you narrow it down, relating to the U.S. As for me, as I'm the type of model, I deal with a lot of my guys that are out of the country because I'm a fetishist, right? So I deal mainly with men that are into obviously long nails, exotic women, mixed or exotic looking women, black women, things of that nature. And so a lot of times, the men that talk to me or come to see me in my shows, they like me because you know what they say? You want to know what they say, y'all? I never seen anyone in our country do that. And I usually hear that from Norway and from Australia and Austria. Sometimes I get them confused, right? So if you're a webcam model that deals mainly in the fetish category or a type of role play that you notice that most of your guys come from out of the U.S. In other words, most guys that are not, most guys that aren't in the U.S., which is a whole nother topic, they usually don't want you to twerk something. That's just been my 16-year experience. They usually don't. They usually want you to be a little bit more, just they like the odd stuff. And I love the odd and fun stuff. So here it is, the aftermath. That's my point. The aftermath of the holiday. And why am I saying aftermath? That sounds so terrible. Not aftermath, just after the dang on holiday, y'all. And you're like, okay, woof. And so you have to get sometimes. My teaching come from getting in the mindset of these men, if that makes sense. Like, imagine these guys being with their family, hanging out with their homeboys, their friends, things of that nature. And then imagine them, this weekend, again, U.S. guys or wherever people went. Some people probably did go out of the country, who knows? But right? And so you're like, okay, they were out with friends and family. They were doing this, they were doing that, and now they want to come back, home. And again, this is Monday, and as you know, Mondays are my favorite days to log in into Cam. I can Let me say this as a sidebar, y'all. You hear my neighbor's music? I cannot wait until I get my soundproof freaking thingamabobbers that go on my freaking wall. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that. I might have to go over there and record, but excuse the background, you guys. But it's just letting me know, like I need some upgrades as a cam girl, as a sidebar. I think I'm gonna invest in those. What's it called? The little sound book cardboard, whatever thing is you got that you can put on your wall. I'll come back and do a review on it when I got them. They're sitting in my Amazon cart, so I definitely will take advantage of that. So let me go down the list so I don't be all over the place, you guys. I did go to my Chat GBT, my Stacy, so that we can get some. How do you kind of, what's the attitude you ought to have when you're coming back off of vacation, or these guys are back at the office, or it's after the holiday, it's after 4th of July. Are they coming back online to see you drunk, hung over? They spent a whole lot of money already, with family, friends, whatever the case may be, going out to Vegas. A lot of folks did, right? So, what is it for you to expect? In fact, I was going to aim it at, how to get more privates, but I think I want to just take the aim of saying, it's not about hurrying and rushing it. It's really about getting yourself reacquainted with your regulars. I think that's a better approach than to say, let's try to get private, because these guys may or may not have the finances because they've already spent it for the most part, right? Maybe they've already spent your portion, so to speak, or they saved it for you. There's many that say, nah, I'm not gonna do anything extra because when the missus leaves, I'm gonna go and see whoever, right? I mean, again, I like the idea of getting inside of these men's their minds, not just their minds, but inside of their world, and kind of seeing where they're at, because again, some men are married, some are single, some have families, some are single dads. You got to look at I like looking at the bigger spectrum of all of it, I don't like just saying, oh, all these guys are just coming on just to get one thing and they all are the same. I mean, that is so not true. So, with that being said, this is where Stacy, which is my Chat GBT, y'all, that's why I call her. This is where I got some help with kind of helping you guys out, because I was like, let me do this, because again, this medicine got me kind of anyway. So okay, so holidays temporarily change people's routines. It doesn't necessarily reflect your value as a performer. That's kind of what I'm trying to tell you guys, right? So it will change the routine of how these guys come back on again. They may be coming back on, what's it called? Just kind of sloppy. That's kind of the way I want to say it. Maybe not at their best, just checking in. You can always, of course, let them know, hey, how was your holiday? Just have a conversation with them, and this is a place to me where what I like about it. It allows me to warm up, right? Especially because I didn't log in this weekend. Wait, I did log in for about 45 minutes. I think I said that earlier. I Let me let that pass. Okay, that's LA for you. Anyway, so it says some regulars are just getting back to work on Monday and may not log in until later on that week, right? I'm just going down my list, y'all. Of course, like I just said, welcome the people back. Instead of trying to make a sell immediately, just get in the groove, I would say, right? Just get back your mojo for a minute and be like, okay. And then let's just say some of you guys did go out. Some of the models y'all may have been like, I had a good ass time. Some of you may not have cam this weekend. I doubt it, because I think any cam model that young or old, if you will, or new or old, I should say, still understand that, let me hop on because, yeah, there's going to be some excitement. You talk about 4th of July, right? Fireworks. I mean, it don't get no more excited than that. I'm going to push through it, y'all. I'm going to push through it. Okay. What else is there? Refresh your room, your energy, or your outfit instead of assuming your prices aren't a problem. Damn, that's the one I definitely got to come back through you guys on and talk about prices, right? I had some issues. I really did. I had some issues as it relates to, oh man, setting my prices too high. I had totally forgot that I had set my prices up there. Now everybody's up there is defined differently, right? But that was something that really, really, that got the best of me, and it made me kind of question, not necessarily my value, because that would be saying a lot, but I did have an issue with it. I really did. Because for a minute I wasn't. Remember the prior Saturday when I came back and talked to you guys about how slow that Saturday was? Well, when I checked my prices, I didn't realize that my prices were up there. I didn't know that. And so, I don't know. I changed them, y'all. Yes, I changed them. How did I change them? I'll tell you that later. And I don't know, that's something that I really struggle with. And of course, because I have dyscalculia, a learning disability with numbers, I really sometimes can not understand. Well, no, it's not the understanding, it's the registering of numbers, and maybe even the value of numbers sometimes do get the best of me. And we'll talk about it later. But anyway, moving on down the list. So, what else are some of the bullet points here? Going down to the list. It says use slower days to make content, organize your workspace, or plan future shows. Now, this is a perfect one. Yeah, this one really helps me, because it's like, you know what? I really like the idea of just using my slower days to practice, to organize, like look at my old pictures, my old videos that are on my profile. I mean, there's some stuff on there that I think I have since 20 maybe 2020 was the last time I really did a refresh on one of the sites that I'm on. So on your slow days, you can definitely take out the time to do that. Um, and just remember, consistency builds familiarity, and familiarity builds repeat visitors. That's something I have to constantly remind myself as it relates to just hopping on. Just go ahead and hop on. And it's kind of, I won't say it's hard, but I guess it is hard to hop onto a job that's primarily commission based, and then not think about the money, right? And then not think, oh my God, I need to make this. But the truth is, you do need to make it. You want to make it, but then you also have to not have the energy of desperation, right? Yeah, you're gonna not do so well when you're just so desperate. At least in the energy, anything you do, I don't care what type of cam model you are, anything you do, you ought to do it with pride, I think. I'm very coherent when I say this, y'all, that you ought to do with pride. And what has always been my theme, since you guys been around or been seeing me, some of you, since I first started this thing 16 years ago. And I often would say at the end of my videos, never do anything you don't feel comfortable with doing. So, but when you get in the place of being desperate, right? And that energy comes across, it's almost, ooh, I don't know about anybody else. And maybe because I'm super empathic, but I will not do good as soon as that, and that's in any type of sales for me. I don't care what it is. I don't care if I'm giving someone a reading. I don't care if I'm selling shoestrings. If I begin to feel like, oh my God, where is everybody? Where is my cell? Where is my client? Where is my person? Where is my people? Where is my man? Anything along them lines that you feel you have to have, especially in that moment. Yeah, my energy gets real jacked up. I'm just gonna be like, oh my gosh, and then I'll just want to close shop, and say, let me start all over. Because once that energy, again, starts to, it just does not feel good to me. Like literally, it will not feel good. It won't sit good in my spirit. When I feel this, it almost gets kind of angsty, if that makes sense. Um, it's like, what it reminds me of, and me and my daughter always teases about when we're like wanting something really bad. It don't matter what it is, food, or we're just being impatient. For those that remember the movie Princess and the Frog, I remember the princess, what's her name? Gosh, I always forget her name, but the main character's friend, the little white girl, and she's like, please, oh please, oh please, oh please, oh please, oh God, oh please. Remember that? And every time me and my daughter, now I'm 49, my daughter's 27, and this is her birthday month, and every time we have any moment in our life where we feel that, we start teasing each other and saying that. But my point is, when you have that type of energy and you feel super desperate and super like, oh my God, please, 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 please let it happen, people can feel that, right? People can feel that energy, and you can feel that energy if you're very in tune to yourself, and it just don't feel good. I know I don't like it. It's not sexy, it's not pretty. It takes away like all my bubbliness, all my whimsicalness, all my sexy. It just does. I just had to go there, y'all. So I say all that to say, if you're having your slow day and it's right after the holidays and things are not picking up, it's okay. Again, 9 times out of 10, it's not us, it's them, because they're getting back into the swing of things. They're getting back to work. They're getting back to their routines too. You're getting back to yours, right? And so, yeah, it's just one of those things. Now, tonight, after I finish this live, I think I'm going to try to take a nap, and then I ordered my groceries from Amazon, and which I'm getting in the habit of doing, and they don't get here till like 10 p.m. Like what? Between 10 and 12 a.m., y'all, and I'm like, okay, but I know with my arm injury, I mean, I didn't want to go grocery shopping and have to carry the bags even up the stairs or on the elevator, you get me, or whatever the case is. You guys know I don't drive anymore, but still you got to carry them inside, right? Even if I drove, even if I took an Uber, whatever the reason. So I'm like, let me get my groceries delivered right to my door instead. And so that's what I did. They won't be here till like way, way, way later, but at least I'll have time to rest. And the plan is, once they come here, then I'll be able to, what am I trying to say? Once the groceries get here, then I'll be up, right? So about 10, 12 o'clock, I'm gonna just log into work, maybe for about a couple of hours. Or let me see, what time is it right now? Shoot, it is like, let me see. Da-da-da-da. It is 6:42. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get off this live, you guys. Hopefully, hopefully this was okay. I mean, because man, I was all over the place. But again, I did take the medication, and I want to get off before it really, really, really starts kicking in. I think it already has. And so just allow my body to rest, and I might just start getting ready at about 9 p.m. instead to log into work. Now, keep in mind, you guys, I know I had got this injury, and it take about 2 weeks to heal, which is a whole nother topic, but obviously self-care. And the good thing about the jobs that we have, well, the type of cam model that I am, because I don't know about you other ladies, but regarding me, I don't do any strenuous activities in my cam girl show. I'm not even going to get up and dance. I'm just going to sit at my desk, and not reach too much, because again, that's the issue is with my right arm. I'll be using my left hand with the long nails, and the girls more, and I'll just take it nice and easy. So I'm thinking about 9 p.m. Yeah, 9, between 9 and 10, so I'll already be dolled up, and by the time my groceries get here, then I can do that, and then I'll put them up and then go to bed. But yeah, that's kind of like the plan, since I just don't want them to be sitting outside my door until I actually wake up early in the morning. I'd rather just get them, um, right when they deliver them. So I think that's it, you guys. But I cannot wait. Y'all hear me? I cannot wait to get this soundproof stuff on the back of. You hear my neighbor? I know y'all hear my neighbor's music. I cannot, and it's in the daytime. I'm not. I'm not. At least she liked the same things that I like. Because if she liked anything else, because I love all kinds of music. I mean, geez, but um, it, you know, I'll close with this, man. If y'all don't hear nothing else I'm saying, all things happen for a reason. All things happen for a reason. I'm a firm believer of that, because if it wasn't for her, I would have never thought, oh, let me get this soundproof and start, learning what it means to actually build a studio, like a cam girl studio or a studio period. Even if I get back into doing music or doing some voiceover work, and I got a lot of other projects that I'm working on. So I'm gonna need it to be quiet. I'm gonna need to do some recording, and so I'm glad. I'm glad. You got to look at everything, not just some things, everything in your life, and say, you know what? Perception is everything, because even though it is what it is, I'm still blessed. I have a beautiful semi luxury apartment with some thin ass walls apparently, and that's okay. And there is a fix for that, right? And I thank God I have the means is to go ahead and get on Amazon, and like I said, they're waiting in my basket, and I'm gonna purchase those suckers when I get. In fact, that should push me as a cam girl goal, because they're not that costly. I think they're like about. Let me look, and I think. See, I want to leave you guys a link, but I'm not going to rush ahead and leave you that link because we are discussing it right now. But I'm not going to leave that link in on this video. I was going to leave the link from Amazon where you guys can purchase the and I probably will do it, because y'all ain't gotta wait till I get mine to get yours, So I'm gonna go ahead and probably leave the link in this video of the soundproof what's it called? What are they called? Let me go to Amazon right quick, y'all. Let me look. There's an actual name for them. I'm calling them everything else but what the actual name is, um and I'm on a let's see, Amazon. I keep calling them soundproof. I guess soundproof boards. That's the best I can think of. They're in my basket. Let's see, what do I got in my basket? Where are they? They're right here. Okay, they are called, and I don't know how good they're gonna work. I hope they do. They're called Focus Sound. I'm gonna get the 52 pack acoustic, and they say they're the number one sellers, best sellers, and they're 36 bucks a pop. And they are, how many come in this sucker? Because I'm gonna need a lot. Well, actually, just to fill up my wall. I don't even know if you have to double stack them or something. They come with stickies already on them, and so you just stick them on your wall. I think they're apartment safe. You know what I'm talking about? But 52. Okay, it's a 52 pack. Cool. 52 pack acoustic foam panels. That's the word. That's what I was trying to say, panels. And I will leave you guys the link. But if you're having issues as a cam model and you have noise, now that's one thing most people have followed me for years have said. Always had issues with background noise, because I've always, for the most part, stayed in, like, in the city where I live next to not right next door, but city, you have your fire departments, you have your police or whatever, sirens and ambulance and things of that nature. So that's always been in my background in the last 16, 20 some years, as I've been doing social media or content. That has always been an issue. So I don't think I'll ever get away from that, except for keeping and I like sitting by my window when I can. Now, if I said somewhere else, that'd be different, but I think I'll just close, and I got both my windows open. That's another thing too. close the windows, and we'll come back and I'll do another video on soundproofing your apartment, right? Um, yeah, I don't think I've ever done that one. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever done that before. This will be my first. See? Thank you, neighbor. You just gave me content. You know, she's a hater, but anyway, that's a whole other different story. Oh my God. I talked about it on my TikTok for those that follow me. I didn't give any names, I didn't give any uh, extreme details to it, but in the last 4 months, y'all, I've had to go through a lot of challenges, just I don't even want to get into it, but as it relates to, I'm just go here. So if I get around to talking about it right here on my YouTube, and it won't surprise you guys, but regarding jealousy and regarding jealousy as it relates to proximity, as my daughter is even teaching me, and how people will just not like you just because you exist. Like you're too close to them, and the challenges. When I say challenges, y'all, I mean major almost life changing, almost life threatening challenges I had to face, while I'm in my semi luxury apartment. There's a saying that says, higher levels, higher devils, right? So it don't matter how much you think you done got to a certain level, a certain prestige, a certain height. You're gonna always look around. If you're looking, I guess you're gonna see it the more. So the more you pay attention to it, the more it'll come about. Some of the stuff is hard to ignore, and me being an empathic woman, I guess some might say a little bit attractive. I just never thought that jealousy and hatefulness and hateful people and mean spirited women, especially when women are attractive themselves. That always behooved me. It always threw me off, and I would often say, well, oh my gosh, she's pretty too. I don't get it because I'm neurodivergent, y'all. So my brain don't be catching it all the time. Well, I don't catch it quick sometimes. So it just never ever made sense to me why a beautiful woman, or how is a better word, how a beautiful woman can be jealous of another beautiful or an attractive woman. And then as I'm getting older, even at 49, I go, oh, it's really not really what I look like. It is, but it's also who I am. It's how I maneuver, it's how I move. And then I can go, oh. And the sad part about that is sometimes when you find out that it's okay, you can't do nothing about your face, right? And with everything in you, there's nothing you can do about the way you look. So what do you do? That's a whole nother different topic, right? But in the case of us cam girls, we show up to work, right, with our pretty sexy selves, exotic selves, and we do what we've been called to do, at least in this industry, and we do it with integrity and sweetness and sexiness. And again, we never do anything we don't really feel like doing, even if they paid us, is usually my model. But I saw that to say maybe I will come back and talk about that. But I also understand as it relates to laws of attraction, sometimes we can spend too much time on something. And the more we spend time on it, the more it'll become. And the truth is that we cannot control anybody else but ourselves, and we can barely do that. Lord knows I'm telling you the truth as it relates to discipline, self discipline. And some can do it better than others, I suppose. But with that being said, those are the tips, you guys. Like I said, the medicine's kicking in, and I'm gonna go ahead and lay down, or lay down more because I'm already in the bed, and then I'll come back if you guys have any more questions or have any questions. Period. Don't be afraid and or hesitate to ask me. But again, I will come back and talk about how to soundproof yours. And I'm in a studio, so how to soundproof your studio or your bedroom or wherever you're at. I didn't never think I was going to be able to do that. So my whole point was talking about people who are, you know, uh, haters, but also, use that hater, if they are haters, so supposedly, use that to give you, to push you in the direction you want to go, right? If someone hates your shoes, or they're always talking about your shoes, keep wearing those shoes. And then, because who knows, maybe God is like, you're about to make your own brand. You're about to do your own thing. You're about to make your own style of shoe. Why don't you get that shoe patented? Why don't you see if they, it's just about taking what somebody else don't like about you and either marketing off of it and doing what it is that you want to do to make you feel good. Because one thing I've learned about a hater or jealousy is that they say it's that fine line, right? Between they actually really like it, they just don't want you to know. They actually really like you. They wish they were you. You know, they like it. It's flattery, whatever. But it also can be dangerous, and so we still got to use wisdom. And I just want to say this. Maybe it's the medicine, y'all, but I want to say this too. Whoever may be going through dealing with a jealous spirit right now, this ain't even a topic. I pray for your wellness, especially if you're more of an introvert, more shy. You know, you're not as talkative. You know, you're not speaking up. I'm here to tell you, somebody will listen to you. You know, I don't care how old you are, how young you. Well, I do care because you're supposed to be over 18, but whatever the case is, someone will listen to you, you know. And so don't ever be afraid to tell the truth about who's picking with you, who's bullying you, harassing you on the job. And don't expect, though, I will say this, don't expect the people that you go to actually be the people to help you. Sometimes it may be far in between, you know. But anyways, you guys, I'm out of here. One love kisses. You guys will hear me or see me in the next one. I'm gonna go drink me some water because this medicine got me really dry mouthed. And I'll talk to you guys later. One love kisses. You guys will hear me or see me in the next one. Bye for now. And I will leave that link on this video. Bye for now. Now, how do I get out of here? Aha.